Beginning with the ceremony soon, please turn off your cellular phones. נא לכבות פלאפונים בבקשה. Holocaust survivors from Israel and abroad. Mrs. Rachel Bat Kaplan, Director of the European Department at the International School for Holocaust Studies at Yad Vashem. Mr. Gidon Eckhaus, Chairman of the Central Committee of Jews from Austria in Israel. Mr. Franz Mühlner, Chairman of the Laad Niskor Society, and his daughter, Ms. Magdalena Mühlner. Mrs. Brigitte Ribisch, Vice Mayor of the city of La an der Thaya. Mrs. Gabriele Feigl, Director of the Culture Forum, Embassy of Austria in Israel, members of the Laad Niskor Society, second generation, ladies and gentlemen. The Yad Vashem synagogue, in which we're currently assembled, is a memorial to the numerous synagogues that were destroyed in the Holocaust. Around us are Torah arcs from Barlad, Radaut, Iași, and Harlau, Romania. Synagogues whose
close in time that survivors can still bear witness to the horrors that engulfed the Jewish people, and I'm honored that we have survivors here today. The terrible suffering of many millions of other victims of the Nazis has left an indelible scar across Europe as well. And remembering about the Shoah and teaching about it is very challenging. This difficult and complex subject matter forces us as educators to grapple with our historical narratives and dispel myths. As educators, we focus on developing a dialogue with one's national history, accepting responsibility and shaping a better future. The axiom to shape a better future is rooted in education. And as the director of the European Department of our International School for Holocaust Studies here at Yad Vashem, I can tell you that our department was founded 5 years ago, but we've been working with Austrian teachers since 2000. And I brought today actually a book that was published by the Ministry of Education from Austria, marking the 10 years of our close cooperation, as well as all of the work that they have done in Austria. So from the very beginning, we've been working in close cooperation with this ministry in Vienna as part of their national project to promote Holocaust education and remembrance, and it's called Erinnern AT. Our multilingual staff of experts in Holocaust history, as well as, of course, in pedagogy, coordinates approximately 50 professional development seminars for educators from Europe alone every single year in a multitude of languages. I can tell you that I just came from the Valley of the Communities where you were this morning. We have a group of Romanian teachers there learning now. The educational approach, of course, of our school underlines the importance of teaching about this multicultural tapestry of Jewish culture, religious life, and social circles before the Shoah. Giving the victims a face and a name is one of our fundamental pedagogical principles. We also place a strong emphasis on learning about everyday life during the Holocaust, how Jewish people, as subjects and not as objects, wrestled with moral dilemmas and coped with their daily insurmountable situations. This summer, we've worked with groups of teachers throughout Europe, from Ireland in the west to Tatarstan in Russia in the east. In July, we hosted our 18th seminar from teachers from Austria, and we look forward, of course, to working with our next group that begins, actually, they arrive here this weekend. This will now mark over 400 teachers from Austria with whom we have worked over the past decade. And this achievement has been marked, actually, in a cooperation contract that we signed with the Austrian Ministry of Education and its minister, Mrs. Claudia Schmidt, last March. Although many of the Austrian educators that have developed projects as a result of their participation in their seminars here are quite some, I would like to tell you a little bit about one of them. And that one teacher that I'd like to illustrate is Joachim Wiesner from Bregenz. He's a teacher of English and history at a gymnasium there. In 2004, Wiesner studied here at our school, and during the seminar, he met for the first time with a Holocaust survivor who lives near Haifa named Naftali Fürst. Over the past 6 years, Wiesner and Fürst have been, in a sense, their lives have been intertwined. First has been invited by Wiesner to give testimony to students and teachers in several cities throughout Austria. And together they attended a ceremony, of course, marking the 60th anniversary of the liberation of Buchenwald. Wiesner designed a special pedagogical resource based on Naftali Fürst's personal story in consultation with our school staff. And actually this particular pedagogical unit won a European Design Award last year. Wiesner has demonstrated that the curiosity and integrity and determination to learn and then impart the legacy of the Shoah to his students, not as, of course, foreign history, but as relevant subject that needs the concern of today's young Austrians. He's a very dedicated educator. And he inspires us because he represents a larger network of educators in Austria and across the European continent who can incorporate new techniques and tools to teach about the Holocaust in their respective classrooms. I sincerely hope that his example will continue. Thank you very much for coming to the Mountain of Remembrance today, and of course for your continued support to foster Holocaust education and remembrance. We see you as partners, and I wish you Shabbat Shalom.
Eufen Pripečík was written by Mark Warszawski at the end of the 19th century. This much-loved song describes how the rabbi teaches his pupils the Aleph Beis in Hebrew school. Please welcome Miss Betty Klein.
Eufen Pripečík brennt a Feuerl und in Stub ist heiß und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinderlach dem Aleph Beis und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinderlach dem Aleph Beis. Solche Kinderlach gedenkt Thaya, wo sie lernt da. Sagt je noch einmal und danke noch einmal, komm jetzt alle vor. Sagt je noch einmal und danke noch einmal, komm jetzt alle vor. Lernt Kinder mit groß Cheshek, also sag ich euch an, wer es wird gicher von euch kennen Ivri, der bekommt davon. Wer wird gicher von euch kennen Ivri, der bekommt davon. Als ihr werdet Kinder älter werden, werdet ihr allein verstehen, wie viel in die Äußers liegen Tränen und wie viel gewähnt, wie viel in die Äußers liegen Tränen und wie viel gewähnt. Seht ihr Kinderlach, gedenkt Thaya, wo sie lernt da. Sagt ihr noch einmal und danke noch einmal, komm jetzt alle vor. Sagt ihr noch einmal und danke noch einmal, komm jetzt alle vor. Als ihr werdet Kinder dem Goles schleppen, euch gemutschede sein, sollt ihr von die Eiche keuch schäppen, guckt in See rein. Sollt ihr von die Äußers keuch schäppen, guckt in See rein. Seht ihr Kinderlach, gedenkt Thaya, was ihr lernt da. Sagt ihr noch einmal und danke noch einmal, komm jetzt alle vor. Sagt ihr noch einmal und danke noch einmal, komm jetzt alle vor.
Thank you. Betty will hear her another time later.